All right, Hag Samak. So it is my second video. What did Jews do on Christmas? Well, I will get to that momentarily. But first, I have to light the candles. Hopefully, I believe last time I had too much data going through one USB-C port, so hopefully I will not have that issue. So first light the shamash, the helper candle. Make sure that my other ones, you're supposed to light the newest candle first. Come on, make sure that they're both nice and lit. Okay, I'm pleased with that. Then I'm going to put the middle one, not required, but keeps it from, once you loosen up the base there, plugs it into the middle, much nicer. Moving on. Okay, the bracha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahalik neh shel Hanukkah. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who's challah us with the mitzvot, that's commandment, commanding us to kindle the Hanukkah light. All right, so Daze Before Christmas. This is a weird game. So apparently, it's actually a really good game, and it was developed for the Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo, or Sega Mega Drive more specifically, because it was never actually released for the Super Nintendo. And it only came out in Australia, of all places. And the interesting thing about that is they don't get a lot of snow in Australia, but, whatever. And so it is a fun game, and it was never actually released in the West or in the US until very recently. It was actually released for the Evercade. And my cat is... No, come on. You're... Hold on. All right. Oh, this is my cat. This guy. He really wanted to be a big part. Really, I wasn't paying attention to him last time, and really. So, yeah. Whatever I record, he wants to be a huge distraction. So I figured I would get it out of the way. And, apparently he is going after my computer cables. And, but, I got home, gave him attention. Now I'm giving him a little more, but I do not want you near fire because you are have a big, bushy, very flammable tail. Mwah. Okay, moving on. But I had a friend in who grew up in, so it was also released in New Zealand. Again, actually they do have a little bit more snow there. So let me turn on the audio mixer. Bam. So actually start the game. Let's see. Options. Nah. Actually, yeah, let me go into the options. Medium difficulty, anti-time 20 seconds, password, sound test, magic, A, jump, and magic. Sounds good. So, only days before Christmas, Santa slept at his house. An evil pot was brewing, cooked up by an awful louse. The cold and evil snowman scared all the elves away. Timekeeper sold plans from Santa's house that day. But for the vicious louse, that wasn't bad enough. I'm really going to show him I'm going to pay rough. Tore up his presents. Elves had vanished. beware, the magical potion calling Santa's evil twin the angry Anti-Claus, his fiend from within. So apparently, in this game, Santa has an evil side called Anti-Claus, and you have to get a potion. And so Santa jumps. It's a 2-button game. The elves look a little bit like, I don't know, I guess a little bit like a rodent. It is what we call a Euro platformer. Really, really awesome animation, decent music, but Euro platformers tend to have you jump around and look for things. And so many Jewish people treat Christmas as just a regular day because it is not a Jewish holiday. But, we tend to live, okay, I just got the Anti-Claus and turned into, he's invincible, and there's I'm just going to call it a golem. That's a golem. And you can beat him. Can't pick up presents when you're in Anti-Claus mode, but it only lasts for a while. And he's got horns, and he's angry, but he's invincible. And then it wears off, and you can pick up presents again. So most businesses are closed on December 25th. Some families use the day to go to the movies or to eat out at restaurants. It's a popular tradition to eat Chinese food, which started in the 19th century in Manhattan's Lower East Side, due to the proximity of the Jewish and Chinese communities and the fact that many Chinese restaurants remained open on Christmas. As Christmas has gotten more popular, many of the Chinese restaurants, including, so I live in Portland, not too far off, in East Portland, not too far off from 82nd Avenue. So 82nd Avenue is, so there's a downtown Chinatown, which almost no one in, has a very sort of old-fashioned Chinatown, but very, it's almost completely 100% tourists. There's Anti-Claus again. So 82nd Avenue is where it's at in Portland. And I actually did find, so Jewish people on Christmas starter pack. So you get the day off, so you go to the movies or work. I am a nurse. I'm an essential healthcare worker. Oh yeah, look, it's still working. And so I did the latter, work. So Let It Snow, level 2. Or you get some Chinese food, get some rice, got some noodles, and gelt. Okay, so I just wanted to take a little bit I'm talking about Chinese food, or the American tradition of Chinese food. So America had, probably we passed one of the most racist laws in existence, called the Chinese Exclusion Act. So they literally set out to make it almost impossible for individuals of Chinese descent to immigrate to America. That's the part so a lot of Chinese laborers came over to, help build the railroad, and then they turned around and said, no, we do not want you to move your families here and actually set up communities. So one of the little exceptions in the Chinese Exclusion Act is if you had a particular skill, you could apply and for immigration. So one of those skills was a chef. So a lot of the existing immigrants that did get to the U.S. Set up Chinese associations, or that's what they're called, or Chinese immigrant associations. And so they used this loophole to bring family members over and Chinese restaurants. And a lot of the Chinese American restaurants were specifically designed with common dishes, and there are many other some YouTubers out there I'll have to show you that really have done a lot more work on this. I'm just quoting what I've read, and I'll actually put the link on the video about the Chinese restaurants and the menu design, and how. So, for many years before the repeal of the Chinese Exclusion Act, which, by the way, lasted from like 18 and the end of basically the finishing of the railroad to World War II, when China joined World War, America's fight against the Axis in or the Axis in World War II. So. But, so a lot of this, so chow mein. So, oh man, I really hope I'm hitting it. So men is noodle in Chinese, big part of the diet. The Chinese culinary scene actually sort of invented noodles, or then the concept of noodles got more, came west and whatnot. But the dish chow mein means fried noodles, but for some reason, there's no noodles in the American version of the dish, which is insane. It's really more like fried vegetables with celery and whatnot. So I find that amusing. So there's noodles on there, some actual mian noodles. I don't speak Chinese, I speak a lot of Japanese. So on the left here, we got an image of two menches, two guys, Jewish guys. You can tell because they're wearing some kippah. In case you don't know, kippah is the term in Hebrew, or kippot when plural, kippah single, and yarmulke is Yiddish. There are multiple Jewish languages, Hebrew being the biblical and modern, and Yiddish and Ladino. Ladino being descendant from Spanish and Hebrew. So Yiddish, sort of based on medieval German and Hebrew, are evolved from combinations of the two. So anyway, these two gentlemen are having some Chinese food and probably having a good time in December. So the right is a meme that was out in the internet, and I don't know if this is real or something. No one knows, but maybe it was in a restaurant. It looks like it is. It says the Chinese Restaurant Association of the United States, which is probably not a real thing. But, that harkens back to the Chinese immigrant groups. Would like to extend our thanks to the Jewish people. We do not completely understand your dietary customs. I'm not even going to talk about all of them. But we are proud and grateful that your God insists that you eat our food on Christmas. Happy holidays. And then they got the yin yang and the Magen David, the Star of David. So is there a commandment to eat Chinese food on Christmas? No, there is not. Is it a fun cultural tradition? Yeah, it is. Let's see if I can go in here. I think you get into a present. So no, it is not a cultural thing. It's a cultural thing. It is not a religious commandment, but there's a lot of stuff in the culture which is fun, and that also goes into sort of a shared cultural heritage. So, like I said, in the Lower East Side, the Chinese parts of New York or the Asian parts of New York are not too far from the Jewish parts of New York. And so the concept of being a stranger in a strange land, both being having immigrants as part of your community, are a shared cultural tradition. Also, not so. I guess I'll have to talk about this. So in kashrut, the Jewish dietary laws of kosher, you're not supposed to mix meat and milk. So you got dairy, things that so there's milchig, which is food that is clearly derived from milk, because there's a passage in the Bible, in the Torah, that says, "Thou shalt not see thy kid in thy mother's milk." Well, what the heck does that mean? So obviously the rabbis interpreted that as like, don't, quite literally, do not mix meat and milk together. And the time would vary between if you're going to consume dairy to when you are going to, it's okay to eat meat again. Or don't kill a child animal in front of its mother. That's another interpretation of it. But anyway, regardless of which, despite there being a lot of lactose heavy cheeses and whatnot, and we literally have the holiday of Shavuot, where it's tradition to eat cheesecake. A lot of lactose intolerance among the Jewish people. I myself am lactose intolerant. So a lot of Chinese individuals also lactose intolerant. By the way, a majority of the world is lactose intolerant. People who can digest lactose in adulthood, you're the mutants. We're people that can digest lactose in childhood and then not in adulthood. Statistically speaking, we're the so-called normal ones. So we're not being lactose intolerant. It's just, I can go on about this, but I'm being a little facetious. But would I get demonetized if I called dairy milk cow tit juice? Because that's what it is. But anyway, so one of the nice things about Chinese food from a Jewish perspective is it's considered what is jokingly called safe treif. So of course, for an individual that keeps kosher, and I fell off that one. You're not going to eat at a place that does not, I don't know if I was supposed to fall down there. So, you know that you're not going to get dairy mixed in with your meat. So there's me and my friend Lori, and we went to Van Hans in off Division around 82nd, and it is a vegetarian Buddhist restaurant, or is a Vietnamese restaurant run by Buddhists, and it used to be run by an order of Buddhist nuns, and the nuns would work there with the shaven heads and all, and they were very nice. And I am not vegetarian anymore, but I ate vegetarian for quite a while. I sort of did it to try and keep kosher in nursing school. But I'm more friendly to it. Lori is vegetarian, so it's not, it's a great place to have. And so I had, she had some Kung Pao, and I had their Buddha bowl, which has some lovely, lovely fried gluten there, and various pickled cilantro and carrots and a lovely sauce. A little bit of a blind jump there. Am I running out of time? No, I think I'm at the fight against the snowman. So they also have really good mung bean soft dumplings, and that's what I had. And I like that they had a little statue of, I believe, an important member of their order. Yes. So I like that it actually looked like the dude. I don't know anything about this guy. May he be of blessed memory. So, I'll pause and play the confirmation hearing. I'm gonna go back. So, because this is the part of the shooter stage where I have to drop presents. Come on. Okay, I gotta get the smoking chimneys. Shoot. So in this game, you get damage, and you have to collect presents and then deliver them to all the good boys and girls. And in my previous playthroughs, I did not do this successfully. I don't think that's an accurate British flag. I think this game was developed in Scandinavia, and also I don't know, like, what's up with those helicopters? I don't know. Also, I also believe that Santa Claus / Father Christmas would get off and actually deliver them, at least so they do in the US. But throwing them is... Okay, how'd I do? Okay, I got a password, so yay. 21 minutes into this. Still working? Yes, still working. All right, I'm going to pause and then play the next clip. Okay. So here is currently Supreme Court Justice Elena Kagan during the confirmation hearings.
I suppose I should ask exactly what you mean by that. I'm assuming that the question you mean is whether a person who was apprehended in the United States is...
No, I just asked you where you're at on Christmas.
You know, like all Jews, I was probably at a Chinese restaurant.
Great answer. Great answer.
You know, I could almost see that one coming, and I thought,
Me too. So you were celebrating Hanukkah.
Senator Schumer explained this to me earlier.
Yeah, he did.
If I might, no other restaurants are open.
Right. You were with your family on Christmas Day.
Anyway, so that's a jokingly part where Senator Lindsey Graham was sort of had a bit of a cultural Jewish joke with Elena Kagan.
I suppose.
So, some Jewish people use Christmas as an opportunity to reflect on their own faith, and many choose to read Jewish books or attend a Jewish seminar. Most just get Chinese food. Get the mice. Can't pick up that present until I want them in anti-claus mode. So here's an illustration. I forgot where I got it from. Google image search, and a lovely Jewish family having some Chinese takeout on what looks like the third night of Hanukkah. So, some Jewish families, particularly with Christian relatives, may participate in secular Christmas celebrations, such as gift givings. This is especially true in interfaith families. And that is... man, I'm spacing on it. That's Hanukkah Harry. I was going to say Eugene Levy, but no, that's a different guy on SCTV. Paul Levitz. John Levitz. That's his. Okay, I'm losing. This is running up. John Levitz had a series, a character, was an actor on Saturday Night Live. Still is an actor, but he had a character called Hanukkah Harry, who was hilarious. Many Jews go to the movies. A lot, you know, I am but a West Coast Jew. I've lived in Seattle. I currently live in Portland. So there's all this, you know, folks in New York, and they have this great theater tradition with Broadway and movies, and I'm not that much of it. So there is Barbra Streisand and Yentl. I particularly like the guy with the awesome mustache, and there is And my cat is playing with a brown paper bag, which I'm going to have to hide because it's making noise. Moment. All right, I'm back. So I thought it would be funny that is the one of the movie scenes in Taxi Driver and Robert De Niro when his character is going crazy and having violent thoughts. You know, the 1970s, incredible time of really artistic R-rated movies, when a movie could be R-rated and a cinematic masterpiece. And I have a cat that just jumped up on the table, so I'm during the middle of a platforming stage. Cat, I would like for you to not be up here while I'm doing difficult... No. There will not be a cat up here while I am trying to do difficult platforming stages, and I also have fire. Let's see. Let's see, and made it to the end of the stage. 5. Some Jewish people use Christmas as a day of rest and relaxation, similar to how they observe the Sabbath or Shabbat. It's a paid day off for most. I have to work, but I get paid extra to work a holiday. I am a proud union nurse. I get paid 2.5 times my regular salary when I have to work on a holiday. So it is... you know, it's a commandment. One of the commandments that we follow is Before Cholim, which is visiting the sick. And so, you know, I show up. I work on Shabbat again because I'm an essential healthcare worker, and Before Cholim is a mitzvah. And even in Jerusalem, you have to have the hospitals open. Not saying I work in a hospital, but it is, you know, also, I'm talking about it. So yeah, I work on Shabbat because I'm a healthcare worker, I'm a nurse, and I take care of people. And even on, you know, if Yom Kippur happens to fall on a work day for me, I don't fast because I have to have my wits about me. Pekuach Nefesh states that one's observance, you cannot put other people at risk because of your observance. So I'm not diabetic, but I do deliver insulin to some individuals that may need it, and also do some like difficult drug calculations. I like to joke that what's the difference between medication and poison? The dosage and route and other stuff like that. But anyway, so if I have to work, I don't fast. But if I can fast and I'm not working, I definitely do. At least for Yom Kippur, oh shoot, I was gonna do. Anyway, moving on. So, a day of rest and relaxation for most. How lovely it is that would be. But there's me on the right with my world's greatest nurse mug. That is not me, but I'll take it. So 6, Christmas can be a time for the Jewish people to focus on community and charity, and they may volunteer at a local organization or donate to a cause that they care about. And there's some mensches, and they are working, I believe, at a food pantry or preparing some lunches. I don't really know exactly what. I did a Google search for like Jewish charity on Christmas, and that's what I came up with. And that guy in the middle is particularly having a pretty good time. So, yeah, I particularly like the parts of my faith and other faiths that involve the good deeds of charity and all of this high, mighty religion. I'm like, yeah, but did you help people? Because that's what's important and is a big part of faith. So there's actually down in Salem, Magic Cave, one of the multi-faith groups is in defiance of local ordinance about feeding the homeless. And the local religious groups are saying, and so it's interesting that they're saying, yeah, it's actually part of feeding the homeless and feeding the needy is part of our faith. So the law is unjust. And it would be interesting to see if that goes all the way up to the Supreme Court, not to get too much into politics. But, by the way, I like my state secular, I like my synagogue religious, like my shul, frum, and religious, I like my state secular, and where the two meet, it's very troubling because in the past, the people that want to mix church and state hasn't worked out very well for the Jewish people. Not a big, okay, a cat, no cat by a menorah while it's lit. So, there's a book for an interfaith family, Daddy's Christmas and Hanukkah Mama. I need to get over there. Let's see. I don't think I'll be talking about the concepts of matrilineal Judaism and patrilineal versus matrilineal Judaism on this particular one. So I'm now retro video game because you're not really here to hear my comments about conservative reform versus Orthodox Judaism. You know what? I'll say this. So I'm probably straddled the line between Reform Judaism and conservative Judaism. I love the music of conservative Judaism and the shuls that I went to, and I like the non-Orthodox traditions of both of them that include ordaining women and being more inclusive of queer community members and LGBT people and whatnot. But anyway, conservative Jews, there is a proposal to rebrand the conservative Judaism movement because people think that it is related to conservative Christianity and conservative politics, and that is absolutely not the case. So if I tell you I'm American, I'm a conservative Jew, you think, oh, that's like conservative politics and conservative Christianity. Nope, absolutely not. This level. There's the boot that kicks you out right about there. So in Israel and Europe, the movement is referred to as Masorti Judaism, which means modern. And I think that would be a much more preferable name than conservative. And I wish that the conservative Jewish movement would rebrand to avoid that confusion. Moving on. While Christmas is not a Jewish holiday, it can be a Jewish time for the Jewish people, connecting them with their heritage to celebrate their own traditions. Got my gelt right here. Got a dreidel. It may involve lighting the menorah, eating latkes, and playing dreidel during Hanukkah. Hanukkah became more important in the U.S. because it occurs around the same time as Christmas. Yeah, it's definitely true. Definitely, and it gets a lot more attention because of its proximity, but it's also a good time, A lot of other Jewish holidays involve, repentance and prayer, and besides saying a prayer for lighting the candles, it's pretty light on, and so it's heavy on the food, heavy on the gifts, low on the guilt and low on the spending time in shul, in synagogue. So I'll leave it at that because I'm still playing the game. Candles are still going. This Steel Factory. 35 minutes. By the way, this is a great platformer. I really think America missed out by not getting it. And I say that, why wouldn't you be able to walk? Okay, they had Santa going in between. Okay. Gotta get good, Santa. So, a Western developed game, despite it being published by a Japanese company, Sunsoft recently published two collections on the Evercade. I'm not sponsored by the Evercade, but I think it's awesome. And so this game was available in the West or in the US for the first time on the Evercade. See, I can't pick that up when I'm in anti-clause mode. You know what? I'm not going to get that present. I got 80 of them. That's some nightmare fuel right there. Bell, and got the anti-clause. You're invincible. See, even you know, the reason why this probably came out or did not come out in the US is and I've said this before, the US has this weird tradition that as soon as a cultural norm that as soon as there's a new platform coming out, we'd be like gonna drop the old ones like a hot potato. So the Sega CD and the Saturn was talking about it, and the PlayStation, and so 16-bit platformers like this were not not considered cutting edge when this came out. So, but you know, the thing is that the tail end of games that are developed for a platform during the life of the platform tend to be really, really good towards the end because developers have had years to develop tips and techniques and really figure out what the hardware can do. So typically games, when the system first comes out, don't quite take advantage of the full power unless it's like, you know, closely made by the game companies that made it, and so they're very familiar with what it can do and fully understand the SDK. But typically, games towards the end of the life of the console tend to be really, really good. But so we get this weird thing where the games are good, but the commercial viability of them is reduced because people are looking for the other ones. So that's why we got some rare gems, colloquially known as rare gems, like Little Samson. It's great, and it's crazy expensive because there's not a lot of cartridges were sold. The Timekeeper. Okay, speaking of Timekeeper, my candles are getting a little low, and since this one's going into a different port, it is working pleasantly, and I haven't had any video problems. So sorry about the video for last night. Oh yeah, this is a weird mini boss. Let's see. I don't quite get why Santa is fighting a clock. I don't know, maybe it's a European tradition. Father Time? I don't know. I don't know why the clock is rolling in a skateboard. Nice digitized. Nice. That was some decent digitized speech for the Sega Genesis / Mega Drive. Okay, over Russia. Okay, my candles are getting a little low. I got 2 left. Okay, 101 present bombs. Oh, I guess that's supposed to be Sputnik. No, I don't want to drop if you... Doesn't matter if you drop presents on the houses that aren't lit. You got to go over the... It's a lot easier if you fly as close as you can to the chimney. It's only got 2 reindeer. Yeah. Also, apparently the Soviet space program is dropping a lot of satellites these days. So it's more concerned about, like, yeah, it's Christmas, but there's literally the satellites are falling from the sky. I'm reading into it too much. Nice, I think I got them all. My password, X6THTWG. Okay, candles are getting down, getting low. Winter waters. So this is an FPGA version running on the, let's try scan lines. Nah, a little down. This is running on my analog pocket. Nope, no save states. But there are save states on the Evercade cartridge. That's some pretty nice parallax scrolling there, Santa. I wonder if there's a big old polar bear in there. Let's see. Oh, coming down. 2 candles left. I wonder if anyone is actually going to watch these all the way through. Usually, like, my friends are like, wow, 45 minutes. It's like, yeah, it's 45 minutes, but it's me, you know, talking and playing video games. Not as edit intensive. You know, for the... I came up with some possible titles that I'll use for my other parts in this one. So next one is Shabbat. So I'm thinking about doing, does Mario roll on Shabbat? Does Mario roll on Shabbos? Ooh, coming down. Okay, I'm gonna pause the game. It's coming down to the very last little flicker bits of flame. 44 minutes. Steel elevators. Oh, went out. So I'll call it right there. And I got a kitty under here. Why don't you come on out? Come on. Yep. Yeah. All right. This is 8-bit joystick. Stay awesome. Play retro. Oh, let me go back. So, like, comment, and subscribe. This is 8-Bit Joystick. Stay awesome, play retro, and Hag Sameach. He's so angry that I ignored him for 45 minutes. You know what? I'm allowed to play video games.